Hello, and welcome back to another Subnautica stream from your buddies over at Dugongs and Seadragons. My name is Francis, and I'm joined by my friends. And we're going to do a continue our Let's Play, of Subnautica, with Erin at the controls, me as the total noob. We're going to talk a lot about random stuff, but also our perspectives as marine scientists and marine conservationists, and also the accountant, about what we see in this beautiful game.
Oh yeah, and last time we lost about half the video, in which we lost two sea moths, and also saw big story stuff about a big gun shooting down our ship.
But we were all totally surprised about. It was a very big surprise. We definitely weren't all convinced it was definitely a trap.
Yes, so.
It wasn't a trap, though. Not for us, anyway.
Yes. No, it wasn't a trap.
Big shout out to OBS Studio, who's the new open source screen recording software we're using, and hopefully it will be much better than the previous software, who I will not mention. NVIDIA. Shadowplay sucks.
A quick disclaimer: we should mention that even though many of us are marine science conservationists or marine science scientists, not everything we say will necessarily be correct.
Yeah, this is off downtime.
A lot of things.
Less alcohol. This is for fun.
This is for fun. This is for relaxing. We know lots of facts, but we don't know all the facts. So consume your content responsibly and make this a sort of jumping off platform. Be curious. Explore new things. Learn new stuff.
Play video games.
Take what we say as
video games.
Yeah.
Honestly, I swear, after we're done with Subnautica, we gotta find another game to play. I have no idea what will be even slightly relevant to marine biology, but I just enjoy this format with you guys. So.
Oh, it's a lot of fun.
Did we ever? So are we sans our underwater car at the moment?
Yes. So
yes.
I'm trying
Submoth
to find...
1 and 2. Rest in peace. Pour one out for the homies.
What are you trying to find?
That. Yeah, I definitely didn't accidentally.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to build a new Seamoth, which will be Seamoth V3, because Mark 1 and 2 got destroyed.
Erin, how come you don't label your beacons? Like, this is Beacon 1. That could be anything.
You're right. What should I label this beacon?
Home base?
Oh, that's
Jinx.
lame. We need something super cool. How about there's no place like base? Oh, it doesn't fit.
Maybe if you take out the apostrophe and spell no properly?
Maybe.
Or just no place like base.
Ooh, that sounds like a really cool house song.
There we
Perfect.
go.
Yeah.
There's no place like.
Oh
Shout
gosh, us singing badly. What horrible content.
Oh god.
For people's ears.
Shout out to everyone who knows that Erin has written a book and also is the worst speller on earth.
Oh man.
No, she's not, because I exist.
Okay, well you've written a dissertation, so.
Yeah, and it's chock full of typos, I am sure, and also I'm getting feedback on, so it is chock full of typos.
I am an amazing speller.
Dyslexics in the house, speak up.
Oh snap.
What?
I may or may not have tricked Joel into dating me by super checking on my messages before contacting him.
It's a pre-chat GPT.
Yep.
So, oh man, online dating in the chat GPT world, go.
I feel like that's...
Oh man, yeah, ChatGPT is just gonna... So the fun thing about ChatGPT is that it's still at the point where if you actually read what it spews out, you can tell
it's bad. Yeah, it's not well written.
I did see a funny, like, one of those, like, teacher student responses, and they had and literally the essay that had written on it was, hello, as ChatGPT, I have, whatever biased views, whatever it was. It basically said, hey, I'm a bot writing this, so just be aware.
They didn't edit it? They just...
They just literally copy-pasted the output. They didn't even read it.
That's a level of lazy I can't understand.
Yes, it was...
Someone's gotten a book deal with a ChatGPT author.
Well, at least they admit it.
There's all of these news sites that are basically converting their model to, instead of actual journalists and people who are writing articles, to editors who take ChatGPT stuff and just make it more human and edit it. So editors and ChatGPTers.
Yeah, I mean, at least that's better than just reading a news article about what 5 people said on Twitter.
Well, the thing is that's kind of what it's going to be, because what is ChatGPT? What do these AI models do? They run from stuff that's already out there. So it's like not generating new things; it's generating rehashing of old things.
I mean, isn't that life though?
No.
Well, the point we're trying to make is, hey, these new things are tools that must be used responsibly.
That doesn't sound right.
If you are writing a dissertation or a college essay, do your work.
That
Learn.
also doesn't sound right.
I'm not gonna lie, when I was writing my there's a point where several of my chapters have similar methods, and I was like, I'm trying not to say the exact same thing, but I need to say the exact same thing. So I was like, hey, ChatGPT, rephrase this, and it only worked a little bit. I still was like, you've rephrased it and it's bad. So
wait, are you allowed to do that?
Helpful.
Is that verboten?
No. I was asking it to rephrase my own work.
Yeah.
To put into my own work.
We're living in a brave new world. What was I was trying to think of the name the other day. What was
And I also didn't end up using it anyway.
Good. That's the important part.
What was the predecessor to LimeWire?
The Napster?
Napster. I could not think of that name the other day. Like when Napster first came out, it was legal, in the technical sense. It took them a long time to come up with, laws regulating that stuff.
Remember how it took a full day to download a song?
In the good old days. And then when some people would label something as something, and then it would be something else.
Oh God. Downloaded way too many Chumbawamba songs, thinking they were something else.
One time on LimeWire, I tried to download the movie 300, and it was some super old school porno about Troy. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I mean, you're also that's not an inaccurate description of the movie 300.
I mean, to be fair, but it was
is basically
not
softcore porn.
It was not. This was not softcore. This was the real thing.
Welcome to our totally safe for work.
Oh yeah,
right.
No. Yeah, that might have to get cut.
Question for the marine biologists in the room.
Let's talk about marine biology.
Yeah, can we look at the surface, not the surface, the ceiling here before you run out of oxygen? So these things are basically jellyfish, but they're portrayed as some sort of flora instead of fauna, which I thought was interesting.
That is interesting, because they're clearly fauna. That's a jellyfish.
Well,
yeah, but if you look at the entry, they're described as plants.
But what are they photosynthesizing?
Well, here's the thing. It is possible that evolutionarily you could have a thing that used to photosynthesize not photosynthesize anymore, right? There are such things as predatory plants.
I do love.
So that's not necessarily out of the realm of possibility. Also, important to note that there are things that your average pedestrian who hasn't taken a Zo 101 course might think are plants, and that photosynthesize, sort of air quotes asterisk, but that are animals. So corals, a lot of people on the street may mistake for flora rather than fauna.
So if you actually look at the bioscan for those species in this game, it literally says that there are 0 photosynthetic cells detected, and it implies carnivorous adaptation to low light environments. So they're talking about a carnivorous water-based plant modeled after jellyfish.
What if instead of
Biologically
being,
possible.
Yeah.
what if
You
they're
definitely know
love
what
the
that looks
idea.
like, but biologically possible, yeah.
what if they're chemosynthetic instead of being
What?
photosynthetic?
Then
Layman.
wouldn't they be at black smokers and
yeah,
deep sea
meaning-
vents?
Meaning that they're
Well,
able
that's
to
where we.
turn chemicals into energy instead of turning light into energy.
Yeah, but those usually are seen in high concentrations of sulfur and these other chemicals, at bottom,
Black
bottom.
smokers and
Yeah.
Thinking about a
Designated non-marine
xenobiology
bio-
thing, it's not necessarily, I can't, and again, I'm not an expert on extremophiles, but I can't necessarily think of a biological mechanism why that would be, that couldn't happen, where you could have something that's chemosynthetic that isn't deep sea like that. We don't
It's just
have
that,
any on Earth that I'm aware of, but
Well, the thing is, you want whatever animal or plant or whatever is getting nutrients is going to grow near that nutrient, right?
right.
Plants grow towards sunlight, and these other species develop near the source of their food, which is these underwater volcano systems. Or magma vents systems, and then all these other populations grow around these original spawners to eat those things, like tube worms and stuff like that. But if it's in just open ocean, you would have to filter through a lot of stuff to get those chemicals, because the water will distribute it, right? So unless you have a ton of these chemicals that are produced in these magma flows or magma vents, just overly populated within the ocean biome, you're not going to have a species that's just going to float around and eat it, right?
Counterpoint, we are literally finding ore in little nuggets, so maybe there are high concentrations of chemicals or minerals in these rocks for them.
Valid point within universe. Totally.
Yeah. It seems like there are raw materials readily accessible.
We're talking
intensive
we're talking
mining,
about
so
just
maybe.
titanium. What else is there? Copper, silver.
Yeah, just because we haven't found the sulfur nuggets doesn't mean
There
Yeah,
are
there's
sulfur
other-
nuggets, aren't there?
There are.
I don't know,
Some
maybe.
are, yeah.
As
So
the
maybe that's why they're in those
designated-
caves. They have sulfur nuggets and they eat the sulfur nuggets.
As the
Mm.
designated non-marine
Yummy.
biology person in the room, please define
Chemosynthesis.
thank you.
Sure. So rather than photosynthesis, where an organism produces energy from sunlight through a chemical process,
Like plants.
Yes,
chemosynthesis.
as the non-marine marine biology person, I know what photosynthesis is. So
Great. So it's the same process. A chemosynthesis is a primary producer, meaning they don't eat anything, but they create energy. But rather than that energy being created from the sun, as in photosynthesis, it's created out of converting energy found in a chemical substance.
Gotcha.
Which is why, and this is actually fairly on the scientific timeline, a fairly recent discovery. If you had asked scientists in the mid 20th century if there was anything at the very bottom of the ocean at these deep ocean vents, they would have been little to nothing, right? Because if they're surviving on something, they're surviving on fall from photosynthetic layers, because they only had discovered animals that had primary producers that were creating energy from sunlight.
sure, and there's no sunlight at the bottom of the ocean.
No sunlight at the bottom of the ocean, so they're surviving on detritus, stuff that's falling. However, we have found these flourishing communities around deep-sea volcanic vents because these chemosynthetic organisms act as the primary producers to start a whole little community.
And sorry,
Oh, I'm sorry, but I might have missed it. What exactly are they using? What is their source
I can
of
answer
energy?
that.
Oh,
I can answer that. They will. They basically will use things that are called C1 compounds and other nutrients. by the oxidation of inorganic things like hydrogen gas, hydrogen sulfide, ammonium, or C1 organic molecules like methane or methanol. So they're basically taking chemicals, some of them are organic, some of them are inorganic, and converting them into these like edible energy sources for them.
Just like with people.
Kind of, but you try surviving on
You
hydrogen
eat,
sulfide.
you eat organic stuff.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Mostly. You get some nutrients, out of some non-organic stuff, but mostly you consume organic.
Right.
Stuff.
So
Plants, animals.
right.
Yeah.
Chemicals in, energy out.
Can we do a little knowledge drop about when this was first discovered?
Ooh.
The 1970s, if I'm not mistaken.
Specifically, 1977 during an ocean research expedition near the Galapagos Islands.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
Yup.
Yep, because that's when they found the hydrothermal vents.
That's the one with what's his face? Darwin, right? He was Galapagos?
Yes, the
Yeah.
Galapagos is like a really exciting scientific location for many reasons.
So if I know it, you can assume that the standard non-informed person knows it.
Now,
You're
here's
so much more than standard. Give yourself some
Yeah.
credit.
Yeah.
Aw.
So-
That's true. I mean, I am married to a marine biologist, so I might be a little...
I've ruined you.
I might be undervaluing the lack of knowledge in the general community. But I've
So-
heard of Galapagos. It's a Futurama.
I want to do one small thing for our audience here, is that there is a connection between your smartphone and chemosynthesis and chemosynthetic organisms. And the connection is that right now there's a lot of argumentation a lot of arguments going on politically across the world about deep sea mining. Deep sea mining is a source for rare minerals such as cobalt, lithium, all these things that we use in our smart devices. And it's not like you can just swim down there and knock off these nodules with your hammer or your light, like in this game.
Uh-huh.
You actually have to go down, and they have these giant machines to churn up the material and the soil, and it's very disruptive. At least the current technologies that are mainly used are very disruptive to the communities there. And the more we need these materials, and the more there's going to be this need for deep sea mining, which impacts all of these really cool, really rare biosystems, such as the chemosynthetic organisms that feed on these vents, because a lot of these nodules are found in these hydro vent areas.
So as the resident economist, I can actually speak to that. Do these organisms pay taxes?
In a way,
Okay. Do they have currency that they give to governments or possibly
Well,
big
They provide
corporations?
ecosystem goods and services which support many things that would be very difficult, if not impossible, to economically reproduce their technology. How about that? How about that?
So what I'm hearing is it's free for the taking, and unless it's protected by some sort of government or something who can actually protect it, it's free for the taking, and we're just going to eat it all up.
What
you're not
saying-
considering
No,
the
no, 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 no,
externalities.
no, no, no.
You're not considering the externalities and the costs to the tragedy of the commons.
Yeah, okay, so, right, yeah, let's talk about the tragedy of the commons. Who's,
No, it's not.
Boy.
No,
I'm-
that's not
no, I'm
good.
just-
Okay, can we get back?
Not-
Hold on, I have a question
Right.
about what's going on in the
not to
video
be the
game.
downer in the room.
But if we eat them, we can find their money.
Yes,
They're
thank you,
hiding
Erin.
it.
That's what I was trying to say. That worm is pooping money, and we're gonna eat it. That's what I was trying to say.
So there's appears. Well, now we're not there anymore. There was a cave that was a full tube looking thing.
Yeah, there's
Oh, yes,
tubes
this
that you can
coral
see one
here.
up here.
This one?
Yes. So do we think these are lava tubes, or do we think they're
No,
like
no, this is a
like?
coral.
They describe it as coral tubes.
Oh, where's my knife?
Oh, okay. Because that was my question. I was like, is this a big organism that has left behind
Yeah,
a
coral.
shell? Like I'm imagining a big sort of tube worm or a Christmas tree worm that is now dead
No, no,
and
no.
has left behind
it's
a little
some
tube.
kind of tubular coral, but
Can we
tell
swim
us,
through it?
Only a little bit.
There are some that you can swim all the way through. Yeah.
Yeah, yay! Oh, that's fun.
Tell us about Christmas tree worms.
Man, you guys do not like talking about economics, do you?
We do not. Poor
Here's the
Joel.
thing.
Economics
it
is
makes us-
sad and destroys the world.
Morality
Yes.
is not recognized in the study of economics.
It
gonna say,
should be.
I'm not-
And hey, fix
I mean,
that.
I
Yeah,
don't
fix
know.
that.
So, we've talked about Christmas tree worms a bunch. I feel like on our past recordings.
Yeah,
We
we-
talked about
when we-
bot-hit worms. I don't know if we talked about
No.
Christmas tree worms.
Oh
No, we
my
talked about
God.
Christmas tree worms.
We did talk about Christmas tree worms when we were. What are the big whale analogies? And there was
Yeah,
a
because we
thing-
found the Christmas tree
yeah.
worms on there,
Yeah.
We did.
and then
I
we
forget
had
what
a
those
whole
they're called.
side conversation about Avatar,
Mm.
the one with the
we
blue
did.
people, not Air.
And how like all of it is from the ocean.
Yes. And gosh, there were just articles that came out when that first movie came out that was like, people are sad because they'll never experience anything as beautiful as this, and I was like, I know a lot of people won't have the chance, but some of you will. Go diving.
That's hilarious.
What are those
Ooh.
called?
We are now in a cave.
Oh, they're
Wow,
called.
this is.
No, they're
Sorry,
not.
go ahead.
Oh,
they're
snap. Better be careful. Don't destroy the sea moth. If you go lower than 200, it will get
Yeah.
destroyed.
I'm trying
They're-
really hard.
the species that had what looked like Christmas tree worms was the reef-back leviathan. Big,
What
slow-moving
are these eels?
things.
Oh, okay. Hi.
Oh my God, we're in my
look at-
favorite biome.
Yes, this is a good place in the game.
So that thing has fangs.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does.
It's a crab snake.
It's a little snake. But also, wow. Okay, that thing has a complicated mouth.
Where's my Zima?
Just like people.
It does have a very complicated mouth.
There is a area in here where I built a base down here because there is a
There is a
hydrothermal
base.
vent.
Oh, is there?
But there's also a
Look at these little,
hydrothermal vent
so
down here.
what are the glowing jelly things?
Yeah, so this is a great chance to talk about symbiosis because these big jelly things house these wormy dudes.
Ah, okay.
And you can steal their egg. Haha! It's
Oh my
mine!
God! Oh my
Oh,
God!
snap!
Wait,
I
the
did
eggs
not
of
know
the
that.
jelly-
Oh,
Wait,
snap!
Hold on, wait. The eggs of the jellies or the eggs of the snakes?
Crab snakes.
These eel
Crab
things
snakes.
that I'm gonna stop
they're
trying
called-
to stand because they keep trying to eat me.
They're called crab snakes.
So, what exactly is this? Is it a commensalism or a mutualism or a true symbiosis or what's happening here?
Big mutualisms. I don't know if it's intentional on the part of the mushroom things, but the snakes certainly like using them as a breeding ground.
Ooh, wait, hold on.
So
Okay, this is not our base.
it is
Oh.
not our base.
No, it's
But
not
someone built
correct.
this.
Someone
else
built
built
that
this.
there. Yes, they did.
And there is some lore that you can find in and around these areas in the form of recordings. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yep.
So
Okay, so we have a
Random
lot to
documents
explore
and
here.
audio
Let's
logs.
let's first talk about some.
you want to talk about
terms
the
we've thrown
jelly
out there.
shrooms?
Let's talk about the jelly shrooms. So, the first example that comes to mind in this situation would be clownfish and anemones,
Clownfish
Yep,
and
exactly.
enemies, Classic.
right? Where the clownfish have a little mucous membrane that makes them sort of immune or resistant to the stings, and therefore they hide in the anemones as a little shelter, a little home. The anemones don't, as far as I'm aware, get much out of it.
I think it's
The trade, but they do not
hypothesized that the clownfish offers some kind of a protection from predators or
Maybe they tell jokes to the enemies.
maybe.
Pause for
Um,
laughter.
So do we think that these little crab snakes are just taking advantage of this protection without, or
Possibly.
do the little jelly mushrooms get a benefit?
If you look at the actual scan data that you get out of it, it will say that this life form appears to live in symbiosis with the local flora. all encountered specimens have been located within 50 meters of jelly shroom flora, frequently within the plants themselves. And there is some talk in the community, apparently, I am looking this up as we speak, that maybe some of the jelly shroom spores actually grow on the crab snake, similar fashion to barnacles and whales, and that's how they transported themselves, but who knows?
I think.
Wait, did you die?
She did drown.
Oh.
She didn't get to the thing in time.
Is the moth still there?
It is.
It should. Yes, the moth was safe.
The moth is fine. I didn't destroy another sea moth.
If you have or can create another one of those, that thing, the what's it called? No, not the egg. The motor transport thing. You should be able to get down there in time, as long as you know the pathway pretty much exactly.
In time? Like, I don't think I had a time limit to get my sea moth back.
No, in time before you die from
yes.
In time
lack of
before you
oxygen.
drown.
Yeah.
I guess that's a thing. Me drowning.
Yeah,
All the time.
breathable air is a time limit, so yeah.
Liberal.
To the non-marine biologists who are watching, if you breathe water, you usually end up dying. You need to breathe oxygen, or actually it's air that's mostly nitrogen that it contains oxygen. But that is, if you breathe water into your lungs, it's not going to be a good time.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. New life pod transmission.
Yeah, so that was the first thing we talked about, the commensalism. Because I think it's a commensalism. I'm not buying.
I think it's commensalism.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No,
right, I'm not sure that.
One is
I'm not
benefiting
seeing
and the
any
other is
overt benefit yet for the jelly mushrooms. Although, to be fair, have not.
Jelly mushrooms
Have
are
not.
so
We don't have.
cute.
I don't have a lot of information. The next thing is, one, there is a base down there, which implies that someone else had gotten to where we are in terms of hanging out on this planet and has built a base that has since been ruined. Next one, is this a life pod from the rescue ship?
Yeah.
Yes, another
Rescue ship.
life pod is.
I'm not convinced that anything survived that. I didn't see any rescue pods eject.
So you kind of touched on this, but can we get like a straight cut of what the difference is between commensalism and the other forms of
Versus parasitism.
Yeah.
Sure. So, when we think about relationships between two organisms that are, like, not kind of a predator-prey situation happening, we kind of put it into three categories. You can think about it as which animals, sort of a plus and minus. One animal benefits, one animal is not benefiting, or what. So a mutualism is where it's a plus-plus. Both animals are benefiting from the relationship between these two organisms. So an example of this would be a coral symbiosis, where the zooxanthellae in the coral is getting a home and a safe space, and the coral is getting nutrients. Right, so that's a mutualistic relationship. You can then also think about an example of a commensalism. So commensalism is where one organism is benefiting and the other organism it's neutral.
It doesn't care.
It's not getting a benefit, but it's not getting a detriment either. A lot of people would argue that a jellyfish or a clownfish and a sea anemone is this arrangement. Although some people think it might be a mutualism. TBD. Kind of some opinions. And then there's parasitism, where one organism is getting a benefit and the other organism is getting a detriment.
Like a tick.
Like a tick, right? You're losing your blood, the tick is feeding. So yeah, sort of. Obviously, there are. Look, nothing actually fits into the nice boxes we like to put them into.
Well, we have so many
so
boxes. Why don't things fit
and
in
we have
nicely?
Well, just because
Life
stuff's
isn't made
not.
of boxes.
Make
it's
more
not-
boxes.
At some point,
Then
I
we
would
just have
love.
ever increasing. This just becomes a fractal at this point. It's just
I've
ever
fun-
increasing.
At some point, I would
boxes.
love for you to go over why the classification fish doesn't really exist.
Oh my gosh,
Oh.
fish! Why can't science define fish?
Ooh, that's a good one.
We can define fish. The problem is that pretty clearly we can define the word fish. The problem is that it's not a good evolutionary term. Because when we like to create evolutionary groups, we like to do so, one, in a way that represents their evolutionary relationships to one another. So when we're using that kingdom, phylum, order, etc., all the way to species, class, etc., all the way to species. Oh, we're trying to do so in a way that reflects the evolutionary relationships of those organisms. We also want to make sure that those boxes that we draw, in terms of kingdom, phylum, class, order, species, skipping things for brevity, are what's called monophyletic, which essentially means that we're making a group that includes every single ancestor of a species, every single ancestor from a sort of common species, and is not excluding any. So if you think about a tree, we're trying to put a bag over like a branch and get all of the offshoots of that branch, while not excluding any offshoots of that branch, and also not having to like make two bags on the branch. This makes more sense if I have a visual aid, or you are very familiar with orchards.
No, I got it.
If we were trying to segment cats away from dogs, we'd want... God, darn it! We'd want to have all of the cats in the bag, all the tigers in the bag. We wouldn't want, like, mongoose in the bag. Or...
Right,
What,
or
you don't like mongoose?
Maybe a more intuitive example would be, we don't want to say anything with wings, because then we're putting both bats and birds and moths in the same category. And very clearly...
Can we pause right now and just point out that Erin died again?
No!
Yeah.
No! We aren't talking about that!
Oh, apparently that didn't happen.
That didn't happen?
Oh, and you're low on batteries.
Shut up, Joe.
Erin is a fantastic player. Well done, Erin.
Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you, Francis.
You're welcome.
Alright, so now
Girls
we're talking
supporting
about
girls.
the bags on the trees.
Right. So an example of this would be things with wings, right? Very clearly, that's a bad evolutionary group, because bats and birds and like moths and other flying insects are all part of a group, when very clearly we're having to like exclude, like, to include bats, we have to exclude other mammals. So we're not getting all the ancestors of whatever common things with wings is. Those things developed secondarily, right, in an other evolutionary relationship. So the reason why we started talking about this is the word fish, right? Fish is actually a bad taxonomic group, because if we were to include every single ancestor of something of a common origin that is a fish, we're having to include basically every vertebrate alive.
Fish evolved very, very early.
We all evolved from a fish thing, so to make a group that is called fish, we would have to include basically every living vertebrate. And things that we don't want to call fish, because you know what a fish is in your brain, and I don't know what a fish is.
It's got fins.
It's a swimmy thing. And also then, some swimmy things used to be not swimmy things before they were, whales and other marine mammals were land things before.
Which would include birds?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would include birds.
So Team Bird is really Team Former Fish.
Oh boy, don't let Twitter know.
Look,
If you ever
we're
want to
all-
giggle,
we're all just
Team
fish.
Bird versus Team Fish on Twitter. They are very
and if
fair.
you're into this weird, obscure rant, book recommendation, Your Inner Fish by Neil Shubin.
I
Good
love
read.
Your Inner Fish. That's a great book. Great pictures.
So, yes, that's why fish is a bad taxonomic category.
Technically, if you're going that route, we are fish.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it.
Fish.
Someone
We
tell
are fish.
Mr. Limpet. He'll be so excited.
Old school reference.
Old school reference. This is it. What for?
And just while we're on this taxonomic raid, and maybe it's something I've said before, rant?
Rant.
And maybe it's something I have said before. But the reason why scientists have some of these technical terms and use scientific names, so for instance, Orcanus orca, rather than calling it a killer whale,
It's not actually
or what
a
have
whale.
you. Yeah, or Carcharinus melanopterus instead of black debris shark, is for precision. So that two-sided name refers to the genus and the species, which are those last two groupings in that kingdom, phylum, etc. classification. And that way, every single species has a unique name, and also a name that is not prone to language boundaries, because often, or even within a single language, often something that is called a single species has multiple common names, or vice versa. One common name can refer to different species. So a mountain lion is the same thing as a puma, is the same thing as a cougar.
Got it. Yep.
But also the term, like a red snapper, depending on where you are in the world, can refer to different fish.
Well, that
So-
gets into,
Really?
oh yeah, because it's not that they don't know what a red snapper is, it's that the word red snapper gets a higher price than some of the other names for that fish.
Interesting.
Or for other similar
Well,
fish. So if
yeah,
they
that's
call
also-
it a red snapper, they get a higher price.
That is
What
a
if-
little bit of a separate issue in terms of just
That's
What
food-
if someone's
food labeling,
only
but-
exposure to the term red snapper comes from the Weird Al movie UHF?
Well, then you'd have to spin the wheel of fish and hope you get something good.
No, you get nothing.
Nothing. You're so stupid.
So stupid! A red
And while we're being,
snapper! Very nice.
while we're being pedantic about our language, a little part there.
Yes, you finally
You-
scanned it. Sorry.
Should
It's
we
definitely a
talk about the
crustacean.
difference between the terms fish and fishes?
Ooh.
Fishes.
Fancy.
Andrew
So,
Thaler just posted something about this on Twitter using emojis.
Yes. Shout out to the other Andrew in our podcast group.
I am the ultimate.
Yeah, so-
Andrew. No one can argue.
I am the best Andrew. Anyway, go ahead.
I
Sorry.
only know one Andrew, so.
So, the term, if you really want to be annoying at parties,
my.
here's a good factoid to lose all your friends. The term fish is obviously both singular and plural, but if you're referring to fish in the plural, you should be all referring to fish that are the same species. So
like
it
a
is
pile
a-
of red snapper would be
So
fish.
it's a
Fish.
yes. If it's all tuna in one big school, there's a big school barracuda, they're fish. However, if
just
you're looking at
making
groups, if you're using the plural and there are different species of fish, so I'm looking at a red snapper and a tuna and a barracuda, it's fishes.
And what's fishies?
That's when they're
when you're
adorable?
when they're super cute.
When they're super cute.
It's a very similar conception to the word people and peoples. Right? So there are multiple people in this room. There are different groups of there are many Native American peoples.
That's a good way of thinking about it. I like that.
Yeah.
Oxygen efficiency greatly decreased.
Linguistic fun facts.
I was gonna say that was
You just went up almost 50 meters in like a second.
Yep.
The first episode is just me
I know.
talking about how the diving
know,
knowledge
I know,
and
I think
understanding will kill you.
We've talked about this.
I just
nauseam.
redid my scuba certification, like re-upped it, and like it's making me much more sensitive to that.
Yeah, you understand why I spent the first like 2 hours of this game being like, this you would die.
You would die in so
Don't
many
do this.
flavors of ways.
Decompression chamber.
Dumb waste of
And-
time.
And also, it still really bothers me that there's not like a lock in any of this. Like we just automatically go into a thing and then it's like done.
Well,
And like we
I
don't,
mean,
and
it's
like in our
future science.
bases.
All the water gets sci-fi'd out.
That's correct. Aaron,
No,
I am.
Well, that's an issue. That's an
you
issue for
actually
so many
drip.
things.
If you next time you go back into the base, notice that you actually do drip. You do
Do a little
have
bit.
some water. But where does
That
it
would still
go?
happen if
Where
you had a
does it
lock.
go?
That doesn't solve the issue.
The sudden expulsion of air as each time you open and close your sea
You
moth.
leave that alone.
Aaron, if we're voting on,
When did the thing start to glow? When did we get a lightsaber?
It's a heat. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Now it's gonna cook the fish at the same time.
Please refer to that very famous Reddit post about the heated knife.
This is basically what it is. This is the heated knife.
Yeah, we can
this is
make
the heated
toast.
knife. Aaron, I've decided I'm casting my vote for the next game we play to be a From Software game. Not saying it has to be Elden Ring, but it's going to be one of the From Software games.
I
I'm
would love to watch some Elden Ring.
currently wearing my "You Died" t-shirt while we're recording this. So.
Maybe it would be fun to play like a sci-fi game like Mass Effect or something, and then talk about like, some more xenobiology stuff.
That would also be fun.
Or
Also, then I can make Erin be like, romance this person. This one's better.
BioShock. That's marine-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, technically.
I don't know what that.
They're in Horizon Forbidden West, the
Ooh.
sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn. There's an entire level that is set in Las Vegas or future Las Vegas. And spoiler alert, they have this whole dome that gets flooded with water, and one of the AIs turns it into a virtual like undersea scene, and it's super cool. Like I nerded the hell out when I was playing that portion.
I'm in. Maybe we should finish this current Let's
You're
Play.
right. There's a lot of
Wait.
different games on the table.
Or how about this? If you have a game that you want us to play, and you
Ooh.
think our marine biology and conservation know-how would be a boon,
Right.
yeah, drop us
Let us
a
know.
comment, drop us a line.
Right. Because otherwise
Way to
we'll end up
crowdsource
playing.
it.
This
Yeah,
is
get in the
this is the
comments.
only game we could think of that's directly related to marine biology.
Actually, 90% of why this is happening is Erin like basically bullying me into this game, and I was like, I don't,
That's
I
totally
don't
fair.
really game, Erin, and she's like, that's fine, I'll game for you.
I'll game for you. I will make
And then
it
we're like,
happen.
maybe we should record it, and now we're here.
Right. As the marine biology game.
It is though. I love this game.
Let me game it for you.
What was that a reference to?
A really weird meme about dogs with long faces.
Oh, is it okay? The Borzos?
I
Wow,
don't even get that.
That's this.
There was this thing that was going around TikTok and Instagram where this long-nosed dog was memified within an inch of its life, and it's literally just playing this song. Let me do it for you. And
I
it's
think it was a
weird.
Borzoi.
Sure.
Borzoi
Why
was
not?
the breed of dog. And I didn't actually. I'm getting this secondhand because maybe this is the second time this has been explained to me, and I was like, what is happening with this?
All right, so we actually visited one of my favorite biomes. So we visited a new biome.
Yep.
What else are we going to try to do in this session?
We should figure out what with the life pod. Do we investigate the signal to see if we're getting honey trapped by more fake life pods again?
Maybe your only communications window.
That's a good question.
Can't send a rescue ship all the way out there, so Aurora, you're just gonna have to meet us halfway. We've uploaded blueprints
Ooh.
to the ship's computer. Yeah, give me a second.
So is this coming from
Oh man,
outside?
now I want a sandwich. This
Oh
is
my
coming
God.
from the ship that sent a rescue ship to us, and they're like, we're not going to go to you anymore.
Yeah,
This
well,
is-
that's
Yeah.
good. That's the right move.
This is my favorite radio message when they're talking about the sandwiches.
Right.
The regular's just a ham and cheese. Okay, would you just say
Just say ham and cheese.
It is a very human interaction, right? Like
It is,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It feels like,
Just tell her the regular,
Yeah,
dude.
You're trying to take a lunch order for the office, and it's not
Yeah.
going well.
I don't know how my usual. What is your usual? They have literally thousands of options.
Yeah, and you're like, when you say the ham and cheese, you mean the ham and cheese on rye, or
Right.
the one with
toast.
mayo?
Yeah.
Do you
Oh,
want it
like-
toasted or not toasted?
What cheese? Cheddar? American? What?
American is an insult to America and cheese.
This is me trying to like go to lab meetings and be like, hey, I'm getting a sandwich at Starbucks. Anyone want anything? And someone's like, an oat milk latte, and I'm like, okay, I said oat milk latte to the lady, and she asked me 7 questions. Do you want it hot or do you want it cold? What size?
You
What's a
said
medium
something
called
there.
again?
As the official layman, I want to make a stand for craft singles.
No.
Get out.
Mm-mm.
You can stand
Wait.
for them, but I
You can
will
stand-
stand them.
I will stand for them. They are
They were-
delicious. I don't
No,
care
hold
what's
on. No, no,
inside
no.
of them.
Like, can you at least just upgrade to just like American, like the kind of cheese that is American but is actually cheese? Because craft singles aren't legally cheese.
Yeah.
Wow,
I can't believe I married you.
that's an insult to.
So you're allowed to say
Something.
American cheese is good, and in fact, America makes lots of amazing cheeses, including a
There are
varietal
good,
called
cheeses
American
from America, yeah.
cheese.
I like cheeses that are labeled American cheese.
Cheese
Craft-
like
and
food
here's a fun
Craft
fact.
singles might
American
be
cheese
labeled craft
Splits
cheese
at a higher temperature than
che-
other
che-
kinds of
cheese
cheese.
products, but I don't care. I also eat hot dogs.
You also
Yeah.
eat spam.
I also eat
Oh,
spam.
oh, wait, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
go
don't.
back to
it's
the right.
a
To the right.
different
I don't.
thing.
To the
I
right.
don't care what
Oh,
sort of
you-
animal product you drop into the shaping machine. I will eat it as long as there's enough salt.
There's high quality cuisine which is made with spam. There's a lot of like the Pacific Islander cuisine is actually
Yes.
come from spam because yeah, that's the whole thing.
No, you don't understand. That's a game changer. I kept
That's
on
a game
almost dying from water,
I'm so
and now we
excited.
got a water filtration machine.
I'm so
Yay! So so did we? What's this mystery? Is there any mysteries to uncover here?
So
I don't think we've gotten to the actual voice logs yet, have we?
we've
I don't
gotten-
remember that.
We've gotten a couple where we went to the on shore section.
But from
not
the
here.
space, from the
not here.
deep water base specifically.
Yeah. This base
Other
specifically
people
has some
have
good.
been making bases on this planet.
And
But
they
do
are
we get a base
connected.
log?
Yeah, so someone's been making multiple bases.
There you go. There's a log right there.
Are we ever gonna meet?
Here,
someone?
wait, hold on. Can you listen for a
You
sec.
gotta listen.
He'd tell me it was childish, but I stare out of the window and sometimes I think how lucky I am to see this world up close. Back on the island, I wouldn't have believed the creatures that live down here. The fish, they glow.
30 seconds.
There's one that's 90% eyeball. Snakes twice the length of a habitat compartment. Certainly, it's not all friendly. Most of the plant life is toxic. Learned that the hard way. But I've managed to coax some marble melons into growing indoors. And when they don't cover our dietary needs, well, we eat the fish themselves. It's a bit gross, but it's nothing they wouldn't do. I've been attempting to document my findings. Father approves. He says understanding is power. That the more we know about this planet, the more we can use it to our advantage. I'm just doing it because it's fun. It's not easy without proper equipment and network access, but the old-fashioned way, observing, taking notes, testing theories, shows me the world in a way a spectroscopic analysis never could. Lately, I've been watching the crab snakes. They ambush their prey as it tries to feed on the mushrooms they hide in. What they don't eat settles on the seabed, which fertilizes the mushrooms, which feeds the herbivores, and so the chain continues. Co-evolution gives me the fuzzies.
Passing 200.
Gosh,
Did you
Oh,
just die
you died
again?
again.
Wow.
I get,
Right in the middle of the plot.
well, so we learned a couple things. Does it sound like these people are stranded? Because it sounds like they came here on purpose, and that's the son of a father.
Well, it's a little unclear. It seemed like they were here for scientific research from the lore, but I just wanted to point out that that gentleman sounds very charming, very interested in learning for learning's sake, and described a situation that I feel he's arguing is it is a mutualistic relationship, because we don't know the jelly shrooms would be able to grow without the nutrients that the crab snakes leave underneath.
Yes, it depends on how direct that nutritional access is. That it could also just be an example of, being a nutrient transport or an ecosystem engineer a little bit. But very cool, and answering some of our previous positive questions. That specific environment. I do wonder what happened to that poor man and his father. I think probably nothing good.
I remember now why I thought that From Software game should be the next one, because Erin keeps dying.
Shut up, Joe.
Yeah, we built the no, that's a bio
That's a
reactor.
Filter, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking for my habitat, but there you are.
Are we ever going to do anything with that snake egg?
Yeah, eventually you can actually grow the species in a internal tank.
And make friends.
Ooh, what are we putting here? What's happening here?
This is how we are going to get water and salt.
That's
we
right.
Don't have any arrows,
We both can drink and our food tastes nice. Love that. Love that
and
for
we
us.
get minerals that we would be losing from possibly being... No, you covered this last time. You don't really lose that much salt when you're swimming around because of the concentration.
Yeah.
We don't know how to make arrow jelly.
Oh, well, at least...
I don't think so.
Well, in comparison to just, like, sweating when you're hiking. Maybe... Did that bit make it? Or did that bit get deleted?
We don't have the how to make arrow gel yet.
In case it got deleted,
Age appropriate, swear.
In one of the previous episodes, I was speaking about living in Aquarius and the meals that we eat down there, and oftentimes the meals that we eat are basically the sort that you would take backpacking. They're dehydrated little meals that because they're meant for sort of backpacking or camping or hiking, tend to be pretty high in sodium, also just because that makes them taste yummy. Which is maybe not a thing that you need when you're spending all your time underwater. You're not losing quite that much sodium as you would if you're sweating and hiking. So when the astronauts live down there, they get more appropriate meals that apparently don't taste as good.
Oh, like the
according to people who have been on both kinds of missions. Yeah, because they're eating well-balanced little astronaut food packets that are, exactly the requirements to keep them in tip-top shape.
And if you have gravity, it's probably not nearly as fun to eat.
I remember being really obsessed
that's exactly
with...
a factor.
You can't pretend you're Pac-Man and just go gop, 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 gop.
I remember being very obsessed with astronaut ice cream as a kid.
They don't eat astronaut ice cream in space, and I'm so sad.
I like Dippin' Dots. It's the ice cream. It's the ice cream of the future, and I stand by Dippin' Dots.
Dippin' Dots can get out of here. It's not creamy, nor is it delicious.
Dippin' Dots.
It's the ice cream of the future.
That's correct.
Are they still around, or is that a thing
you find it
at amusement parks?
Only amusement parks and baseball stadiums.
Because they're amusing.
Sometimes it's hard to tell what's a thing that's no longer a thing because I'm an adult now, or if it's still a thing but I'm an adult, so I just don't interact with it.
It's still a thing. It's still a thing.
Okay, y'all. How do I get to my sea moth so I don't have to build another one?
Oh my goodness, Erin.
Did we lose the sea moth again?
No, she died.
Wow.
Wait. You broke another sea moth?
No, I just can't get to it.
Oh.
You should have it on your radar. What do you mean you can't get to it?
Well, you have to go back down into that biome.
Where's that biome?
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay,
see, this is why you need to put beacons at the entrances of these.
Yeah, Erin.
Yeah,
Erin.
go.
What
There.
you need to do,
No
what
doubt.
you-
Maybe you should go up and then go straight back down though, because you're gonna.
yeah, oxygen.
She's close enough. She'll get
This
to,
Oh,
is-
to the
okay, she's
T-Moth,
fine. She's
which
fine.
apparently just produces its own oxygen continuously.
Yes, it does.
Yes, we've
Don't
covered-
question the sea moth.
We've covered as to why this is problematic in other episodes.
Alright, this.
That's what we call a throwback.
I haven't died so many times.
What's the opposite of foreshadowing?
I don't know. A callback?
Backshadowing? I don't know.
You can call it a leitmotif, or
yeah,
just
there we
a
go.
callback.
At this point, I think it's a meme.
At this point, it's probably a meme. And then
We were,
Erin
we were trying to make
If
it sound
we-
sophisticated and artistic.
If we had enough viewers, that would be a meme.
You heard it, viewers. Don't make that a meme. Joel's
Memify
wrong.
us. Oh, I mean, don't memify
Right?
us.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
do that. We would
No.
hate
Here's
that.
the thing: they're never gonna memify us sounding cool or saying something that's good science communication. They're gonna memify us being dumbasses.
Yeah.
Joke's on you. We're always
Age
dumbasses.
appropriate.
It's you. Well, PG-13. You can say the
Can we
word ass. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Pretty
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, we just can't
You get at least one.
What year is it?
It is.
say words like
Well, it
bleep
depends
and
which
bleep.
state you're in. In certain states, it's 2023. In certain states, it's like 1954.
I mean,
think.
that's pretty generous. It's got to be like 18
Including my
Wow.
state.
You know?
something. Francis is in Florida.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know if you've
Home of
seen.
Florida man.
Ron DeSantis has been on a tear where he's recently authorized.
The man who must not
Several.
be named.
Oh yeah, let's not talk about him.
I
Can you
think
believe
all
that's
our
his name?
viewers I think all our viewers understand what we're talking about, and that's all we need to say.
Yes, look up what Ron. He who shall not be named. Did and signed into law in the month of April, year of our Lord 2023, and you will see why Francis is sad and upset.
Was it Happy Birthday, Erin?
No,
Oh no, that is sad.
but that's what he should have done. That's
It
if he
should've.
had done
Missed
only that with the
opportunity.
month, he would have been life would have been exponentially better.
That's why we can't have
If
nice
all he
things.
had done with his month is say happy birthday, Aaron, and then got back into bed, that would have been truly such a remarkable improvement.
We can't have nice things.
We cannot. I worked with a guy for 6 to 8 months, and then he moved back to Florida.
He took my books.
He did actually take
look, I
Aaron's
live in
book.
this state. There are many amazing things that happen in this place. I love my research and academic colleagues. It's amazing. However,
Florida man.
Florida man, Florida
fun
man.
fact, do you,
Get
other than
on
the fact
ahead
that
for the
this
frying
is
pan.
other than the fact that this state is absolutely wild, there's a reason why the Florida man is a thing, and
Oh, I know
Part
this
of the reason
story,
on
but
that-
please, yeah.
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 Yeah, go for it.
hey, Marmo, our halfling bard lawyer, why did Florida man become a thing?
Well, there are some privacy considerations to keep into account when certain legal filings are made. Hold on a sec, loud noises.
Unless you're in
Yeah, there's
Florida.
a monster chasing us.
So, basically, you will know that with most Florida man things, it's usually around some sort of police report. Florida is one of the only states, I forget if it is the only or is one of the only states that has what's known as wide open public records laws. So basically, every arrest, every report is just wide open to the public. And so basically, even though you might think, oh, there's so many oddballs in Florida, if all of the California records were really open and all the public records were available to search from anybody, you would be able to have California man, But basically, right now, there's privacy laws in a lot of different states where those records are under a tight seal for a certain time because it's part of an investigation or it's part of an active litigation. But in Florida, no, it's open season.
Which is to say that anytime anything interesting or crazy happens in Florida, that would make a great headline.
Mm-hmm.
It is
Yeah.
a headline.
They can headline it.
Florida man, is selling meth to, for tickets
Alligators.
to get into heaven or whatever. Like, just something ridiculous because, that happens everywhere, but only in Florida is that publicly accessible and therefore national news because it's a great headline, then that sells newspapers.
Yeah, and like while
Or
other
trash
states might have some comparable robust open records laws, Florida is one of the only states that like the law enforcement will provide people with this information just as like a regular matter of course without complaining or putting up red tape or claiming it's crucial to an investigation. They're just like, yeah, sure, you want that info? Here you go.
It's just gratis. Here you go.
Yeah.
So
Cool, yeah. Check out this story, man.
Right. Which, I think one of the 50 states should have that, and therefore we have Florida Man, because otherwise, who would care about Florida?
Oh, poor Florida. Francis is talking about how great it is.
Okay, well, that's fine. I've been to Florida. I'm not a huge fan, personally, but,
There's lots of wonderful things about the state. There are also not so wonderful things
opinion.
about the state, which is
every state.
true of every place I've ever been.
As a Virginia native, I will say my favorite state is Colorado. Favorite state I've been to.
Ouch, okay.
I'm just saying. Shout out to Colorado. That state is beautiful. The weather's nice. When it's hot, it's like not humid. When it's cold, there's snow so you can ski. I just like Colorado. It just feels outdoorsy. Like you go there and you just want to be outside. Virginia is hot and humid.
I will say our state bird is the mosquito, and
step up, Virginia. I would love for another state to step up and become my favorite state. I issue that as a challenge to Virginia. Step up. Colorado is.
Stop having so many mosquitoes.
Colorado does have its fair share of mosquitoes. If you go in the right time of year.
And also I've only visited. I've never lived in Colorado, but I've visited.
It's easy to romanticize a place where you don't live.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. I also I visited Wisconsin, and I loved it. Oh my gosh, what's the big city there?
Cheese?
Yes, the big city.
Madison, Wisconsin?
No.
The big city.
Where did we go to that amazing Renaissance Festival?
I know. It was in Wisconsin.
We're going there again this year. We're nerds. I don't know if you knew, chat, but
Oxygen efficiency decreased.
it's pretty subtle.
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
Shout out to Milwaukee. I have grown up and lived near and worked in Washington, D.C., which is kind of how I measure cities because that's what I'm used to. And in my mind, cities are dirty and cramped and filthy. Milwaukee is lovely. I love it.
It's got bunnies.
It's got bunnies. It feels more open. You've got elbow room. It doesn't smell bad. But again, I do measure those things from Washington, D.C. So
DC is not, for all those things that you mentioned, DC's pretty good.
Oh, wow.
DC's not the most crowded, smelliest city.
I mean,
I will say that one of the things that struck me about Portland, at least most of Portland when I moved here, was the distinct lack of pee smell. And I think it's mainly because it's so rainy all the time and it just washes away.
To be fair, I mean, I don't think DC is one of our cleanest cities in the world.
It is a city.
In the U.S.
It is a city.
It is a city, and also I don't. I'm not a city guy. I'm an outdoorsy guy. I worked as a park ranger for 5 years. That was the best job I've ever had. And now I'm an accountant and I work inside of an office. So, I want to
Two
be
things aren't
outside.
necessarily mutually exclusive.
Yeah,
So,
the reason I stopped park rangering was for money. So,
so in the Green Acres level of things, you are definitely the guy who wants to be on the farm,
I'm
not the Zsa Zsa Gabor side of
I,
things.
I'm 100 Acre Woods. I'm Winnie the
Yeah.
Pooh. That's where I'm Eeyore. But Eeyore lives in the 100 Acre Wood, and that's fine.
New York is where I'd rather stay. I sneeze at the smell of smelling hay.
I
Rest of
don't
the
get
song.
that. I don't
It's
get that
an
reference.
old TV show you would see on Nick at Night back in the
Gotcha.
day
Gotcha.
called Green Acres.
I recognize the term Green Acres.
The theme song was pretty poppin'. It was dun 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 dun
Okay,
dun dun.
that definitely rings a bell.
Dun
Definitely
dun
rings a
dun
bell.
dun 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 dun.
Dun dun.
Yep.
What about there was like these gals and they lived next to a railroad and it was snap.
Totally
Yeah.
lost the plot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Joni loves Chachi?
No.
Mork and Mindy? Oh, fun fact I just learned. Apparently, on the set of Mork and Mindy, they had to have a multilingual censor because Robin Williams kept trying to slip in swear words in other languages.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's the most Robin Williams thing I think I've ever heard.
All right. Shout out to the modern era we lived in. I typed in old TV shows, girls near train. First thing that pops up, Petticoat Junction, which is exactly what I was thinking.
Never saw it, but always thought the title was interesting.
It was good. It was good. I'm trying to stop myself from singing the entirety of Arlo Guthrie's Alice's Restaurant right now.
Oh, nice.
He can, don't tempt him. Let's see here. I'm gonna have to make another box.
Kind of gotten away from marine biology right now.
I know. We went on
That was
a weird
very
tangent.
long
Honestly,
tangent.
the longer I talk, the further and further away we're going to get from marine biology. And that's just the nature of the business.
So one of the coolest structures that I liked to build as part of the habitat, and again, I didn't get the expansion for it yet, but is the circular like observation room that's all glass.
So I can
And
do that, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to save the enameled glass for a fancy top.
well,
I should
either
just do
way.
it.
With the circular room, I made that my like office.
You're right.
So I just put like my Picard captain's chair there, and I looked out into this kelp forest and just relaxed.
The ready room.
Yep. Oh no, that's a different one. Can you go to? Yeah.
Oh, so I might need to add another room if I'm gonna.
Oh, Erin, what's the name of that great Star Trek cartoon? Lower Decks. Oh my goodness.
Lower Decks is amazing.
Completely off topic. Watch Lower Decks. If you don't like Star Trek, watch Lower Decks. If you love Star Trek, also watch Lower Decks.
If you love the concept of cetacean ops, watch Lower Decks.
Oh man.
Ugh. Lower Decks. So good.
Titanium.
How cool.
How's that? And then we'll put.
Uh-oh.
Constructed. with a specific research
Oh, gosh
task in
darn.
mind. Observatories and other glass modules are imprudent for survival purposes.
Uh-oh. Leaking.
You gotta put it in like a hatch or something. Not a hatch,
Yep. You gotta increase your,
There's the wall brace.
your wall.
There, no, I think you just passed it.
Did I?
Yeah, if you go back in.
Year was 1953.
Next one.
We had to say dickety because the Kaiser had stolen our word for 20. I chased that rascal for dickety 6 miles, but gave up because I chased that rascal, but I gave up after dickety 6 miles because I got tired. It's the only Simpsons quote I'll ever get.
Oh, I had an onion on my belt, as was the style of the time.
The problem with The Simpsons is it's just gone on too long. Like, Futurama has got canceled 3 times and won't die, but at least it still makes me chuckle.
Did you fix? Yeah, I was like, you got a couple holes on your walls
I
there.
do have a bunch of holes still.
Right, there's the one. There's the one.
There's one.
There was one by the entrance as well. Your little port.
Aaron, I'm sure you've glanced over and made sure
Have
that's
we?
still
Have
recording,
we?
right?
Does this murder all of our plants? Surely this murders all our little seedlings that we transported.
No, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. They're fine. Salt water does nothing to plants.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Aaron, you have glanced over to make sure we're still recording, right?
Yes.
Very good. Shout out to
Probably we
OPS
should
Studios.
find a natural endpoint here
Is there a
soon. We've been talking for a while, I think.
Let's see here. We've been recording about an hour and 12 minutes. Why are you not draining yet?
Where do you poop?
That's a good question. Maybe it's a still suit situation where it says that it
You just truly, I bet what happens is you just pull down your
the
drawers.
ocean?
Yeah.
Drop trowel.
Just drop
Like how they
trowel.
used to do at Aquarius before
Yes.
something happened?
So there was a
Oh my.
There you go.
Here's the story. In Aquarius, outside of Aquarius, we have what are called the gazebos, which is essentially exactly kind of like a gazebo. It's an open thing with a swim through that has a little air pocket at the top. And the idea behind this is it's an evacuation zone. So if Aquarius, something catastrophic happens in the habitat, you swim out through a hatch, you stand in there until there's a rescue boat above. They can then come down, you can get stuck straight in the chamber, and you'll be fine. However, just because it's an enclosed space and you don't always want to be pooping in sort of that small of an environment with that many people, a lot of times in the oldie days of Aquarius, the etiquette, and also it became sort of a rite of passage, is that when you needed to do something like that, you would swim out of the habitat to the gazebo and drop trowel and do that just outside of the habitat so that you weren't stinking up the habitat with your fumes. However, it became a recognizable pattern for local fish in the area, and this this practice was disallowed shortly before my missions there, because someone got bit on the butt by a fish.
Oh no.
At least that's the scuttlebutt.
I mean,
So it was disallowed totally after that incident. I don't think necessarily they were super in love with that habit in the first place, just because it did mean people were like outside the habitat, outside of dive times, which makes safety people nervous.
the safety
Full
people.
stop anyway, even though it was a easy swim. But yeah, so I did not get to do that
That's
in my mission.
unfortunate.
And I feel like I missed out on the experience because that's sort of a rite of passage for Aquanauts. So I feel like I missed something. because
Still
I
a
didn't
goal
get
of
to drop
mine.
trow.
It's still a goal of mine to eventually stay in the Aquarius base at some point.
Well, fingers crossed for you. There's potential that might happen for you.
Yeah, I hope. I still can never get over the thump of the fish
I
hitting
know
the
that's
sea.
really weird.
So I
It's like
want...
driving. It's like when you drive through a big thing of bugs
Moo.
on the highway.
But these are fishies. No, don't destroy another sea moth.
Erin, watch your depth meter.
No.
You're already at
Erin,
74.
Erin, you're
health.
stressing me out as like a dive master. You got to be
Right.
watching your depth.
How
You got-
many sea moths
You're not
have
sticking to the
died?
dive plane here. You got a maximum of 200 meters. You can't break it.
Look, I am here to bully Francis into playing and have fun with this game, not pretend that I'm good at it.
And reminder to all the listeners out there, we don't play sober. There's definitely some
Don't-
pre-gaming.
Don't give away our secrets.
We definitely played some Overwatch and
I'm-
drank before this. so.
I'm just worried about you if you ever actually are a diver. Erin, you're not paying attention to your dive gauge.
Well, if
And the
there's,
dive master in me doesn't like that.
if there's a cute little gauge in my peripheral the whole time, maybe I will, but...
I mean, you can get a heads-up display for your dive computer.
Yeah, well, also, there is a cute little gauge in your peripherals here. It's not different. There's a gauge, and it's not in the center of the screen.
Erin is one of those people. She's a mass of confusing. What do you call it with two things? It's like magnets.
Contradictions?
Thank you.
Paradoxes?
She's a paradox. She's a contradiction. She's an artist. She's very visual, and yet I can stand at her peripheral vision and do a crazy dance, and she won't notice. And
It's called the intensity of the artistic focus, right, Erin?
Obviously, yes. Thank you,
Yeah.
Francis.
You're welcome. Why don't you?
and you know, she's very creative. She understands how visual things look, but she can't. She's very crafty, but she's not very good at making things work in the physical world.
So what? Okay, we found another base.
Well, this is part of our ship that exploded.
Oh, okay, this is not another.
You're
base.
part of our ship that
Can we
exploded.
find parts of the? Do we now get? I don't mean to be morbid. Do we get more parts because the other ship exploded?
Wow.
Technically-
No, unfortunately.
Wow.
There
No,
should be more-
technically, you do find more parts, and anything
do.
that is extra, you do get titanium from.
Well, not
right?
from
So
the-
you get
the other
building
ship that
materials.
exploded. There's
Oh,
I'm not
additional
happy the
no.
other.
wrecks.
No,
I'm not
unfortunately, no.
We don't find remnants of the other ship.
That's actually a very good point. You don't. You should. And you
I
should
will say,
probably.
I mean, it did look pretty destroyed.
I mean.
But also, I'm not convinced with how destroyed it looked that that anyone survived.
No.
I mean,
So those,
we don't
those
hear from.
transmissions I find sus. And
Those
if they
transmissions are from.
survived-
No. Those transmissions are from the escape pods from our ship.
Yeah,
but
those are
I
all
thought there
our
were new. I thought there were new transmissions from the new ship.
No.
In this episode.
The only new transmissions was from the ship that got exploded.
New blueprint acquired.
Yeah.
I do like that you can make a vending machine. That's
Yeah.
super funny.
I really want is a laser cutter to. Oh yes! Come on! Yes!
At some point, we will need to go to our exploded ship because the reactors are.
Well, we don't have a laser cutter or a propulsion cannon yet.
Yes, but apparently the reactors are going to go nuclear, which is to say, in game terms, they won't ever until we go there. And then
Yeah.
it'll say, "Oh, you got to fix this, otherwise it'll go nuclear."
I thought like all the laser cutter parts were in like upper ocean, like in the red whatever those things, red seagrass stuff area.
Maybe I should look around there more because I've been looking for them this whole time.
Oh,
So again, not to be
maybe the
morbid.
maybe the laser cutters were in front of you the whole time.
Maybe the laser cutters were the friends we made along the way.
Thanks
Yeah.
for running with that joke.
Yep.
Sorry, I totally talked over you, Francis.
No.
I'm sorry.
I just had another thought. So what's our long-term plan here? So we've crashed.
Yep.
We're creating a beautiful little base and stuff and discovering mysteries. But also we know that we cannot be rescued without putting the rescue ship in danger.
Correct.
So our only way to get off this planet is to somehow escape after disabling the big gun and making our own little ship that can leave.
So
Well, we
failed
also-
our
After
space
perhaps
COVID
being
test.
infected.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also,
we
so
need
we
we
can't.
need to.
So is our goal just to live here forever alone?
Would that be
No.
so
'Cause
bad?
Our goal is to beat space COVID
that's-
so we can get out of here. We need the
We need to
the
find
space
a cure
COVID
for
back.
space COVID, so we can.
Yes.
There,
Turn
this
off
was an
the
episode.
laser.
This was an episode of Star Trek Voyager.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it was.
It
Absolutely.
Yes, it
was
was.
actually.
I love
One of the good
Voyager.
episodes of Star Trek Voyager.
So yeah, our goals are multi-pronged. We A, want to survive. B, want to find a cure for what is ailing us so we can deactivate space quarantine. And our final goal is to build the ship that will take us halfway to the rescue ship so that we can get off world.
Uh-huh. Okay. This does seem to have some flaws. Challenges? Flaws. I feel like this doesn't end well. Is my
It does if we can
hypothesis.
cure space COVID.
Right? All we got to do is cure space COVID. It's not that
Right,
complicated.
so what if we cure space COVID and then we get recurring space COVID and then infect the rest of the
That
universe with
doesn't
space
make
COVID?
sense. That doesn't make sense.
That's not how it works. We can't get off planet unless we've
I
cured
just
space COVID.
if this is a movie, the way starring Sigourney Weaver, because clearly
Oh,
some kind of 80s horror flick. What happens is we successfully escape, and then as the movie closes, we give a faint little cough, and then the camera zooms out to exactly how many people are in enclosed space, and then we are left with an impending sense of doom, even though our
Well,
hero
we're-
escaped and survived the ordeal, that we have doomed the galaxy.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but in this situation, we are cooler than Sigourney Weaver.
Ooh. Nobody's
know.
cooler
I
than
don't-
Sigourney
I don't
Weaver.
I'm just
Believe
saying.
you.
I'm just saying.
Nobody is cooler
It
than
felt
Sigourney
weird
Weaver.
to say. It felt weird
Yeah.
to say.
Oh, wait, go back over that recipe real quick again. Can I just, I love this. This is my favorite thing. I already pointed out before. To make computer chips in this world, you use copper wire, gold, and table coral.
I mean, yeah, that's how I.
It's the most
make
Gilligan's
computer
Island thing
chips.
I've ever
Oh, yeah.
heard.
Yeah, it's basically like coconut radio. It's like how? What
I
the
mean, to
heck?
be fair,
How do you
gold,
make your computer chips?
gold does make good circuit boards.
Absolutely,
That's
yeah.
fine, yeah, but
Gold
you
plated.
make it with a table coral?
Yeah.
Well, that's obviously it's your monitor.
Find something else flat in the ocean.
Where
Oh
is
boy.
table coral?
Your tip.
Table coral is usually, well, you could probably find some on these walls, but I remember it being back in like the coral area where we originally crashed.
Ha 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 ha.
Oh, you found some, yeah.
There you go. Table coral.
That's shell plate. Is that the same? Coral tube. Nope. I should have taken my sleeve off.
Mm.
All right, so how do we
Moth
want to
Mark
end
3
this
or is this Mach
episode?
4?
Never.
That's Mach 3, right?
I think we're on Mach 3.
Oxygen efficiency decreased.
Well, I think we're gonna probably end it
Yeah, that sounds
around here and join us next time for when. Oh, you found some.
Hey!
Is that? Oh, I don't know.
It's coral shell plate.
That's a different thing.
Whatever.
Join
Anyway,
us next time as we find table coral.
Yeah.
And
and
gold.
pieces of the laser cutter, and find a way to try and avert disaster and possibly get off of this crazy mixed up planet.